are not evolving along with the students. We think of technology now as something separate from the learning instead of it being a blended classroom where it's really a part of the learning. Again, that's where our students are headed. That's where they're at now. So we're kind of need to evolve with that. So that's really what it enhances the learning in many ways. One, which was kind of the theme of my presentation earlier, is it's really where our students are right now. Their phones, their iPads are a part of their life, and if we want to communicate with them, if we want to participate with them, we're going to have to speak their language, and technology really is their language. Technology also helps expand our classroom environment beyond just the 3 or 4 hours a week that we have them. Outside of that, we can include things like a discussion board, videos, that's when you start getting to a flipped classroom. Flipped classroom meaning you do your lecturing and your content outside of the classroom, and when they come back, you work on problems and other questions and issues that they had about your lecturing or information they did outside of classroom. So that it's been flipped. Yeah, in regards to competency-based education and online education, when it first started, it opened up education for those that didn't have access to the traditional environment. Typically, we're talking about a younger student that can take 3 or 4 years out of their life and participate in a classroom environment. Online education opened up that classroom environment to people outside of that realm, working class individuals, single mothers, people that live in a rural setting that couldn't afford to come in for whatever reason. Competency-based education, I believe, takes even online education farther. Competency-based education brings in the time factor and it enhances the time factor a bit on that. So if someone that's coming from an engineering background doesn't have time or maybe doesn't even have the inclination to sit through a math class, for example, competency-based education allows them to progress or show their competence in that mathematical content in a quicker amount of time, rather than sitting for 10 weeks or 18 weeks in a classroom when they already know the information. They can display their competence. So in the end, online education and competency-based education together helps them save money and provides access to this education that didn't exist before. I think competency-based education enhances online education. I think it works well with online education, but a traditional program can be competency-based as well. I mean, you can start with those standards and then develop competencies in a traditional program or in an online program. Yeah, the completion rates are very similar, if not better. At Western Governors University, we happen to have our average age student is 37, so that helps us a little bit. You get a more motivated and a dedicated student instead of talking about an 18-year-old that maybe doesn't quite know where they're headed. It means more to them. Their money means more to them when they're spending it. Their time means more to them when they're spending that time. So when you're talking about a 37-year-old student